is not equal to B1 by B2. Okay. Now, the other possibility is, since we are plotting the graph, so it is quite possible that both the graphs are parallel to each other. Now, if both the graphs are parallel to each other, if they are not intersecting at any point, so you will not get any common solution. So, this is the case when both the lines are parallel and you are getting no solution. And the condition for no solution is A1 by A2 is equal to B1 by B2 is not equal to C1 by C2. And the third possibility is when you are drawing two lines, that this is my first line, okay, and the second line is also which is superimposed on this line. So when both the lines will coincide to each other, okay, you get the infinite points which are common to both the lines. So this is nothing but this is the graph when there are infinite solutions. So these are the three conditions: unique solution, no solution and infinite solution. And for the condition to be an infinite solution, A1 by A2 is equal to B1 by B2 is equal to C1 by C2. So these are the three different conditions: unique solution, no solutions and infinite solution. And there is one more term, consistent and the inconsistent. Now, if the equation has at least one solution, then it is known as consistent equations. So for example, here we can say this, the case of unique solution, this is nothing but the consistent. Okay. Even the case of infinite solution is also consistent. And the case of no solution, it is inconsistent. Okay. So this is about the linear equations, the three different important conditions for the solutions to be consistent, inconsistent, unique, no solution and the infinite solution. Now, after linear equation, let's move to the next part, that is the algebraic or quadratic equation. Now, in case of quadratic equations, the standard form of the quadratic equation is ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0. Okay, and if I find out its roots, okay, the roots are nothing but we all know that x is equal to minus b plus minus under root of b square minus 4ac divided by 2a. Now this particular part b square minus 4ac, that is known as the discriminant. So we can say that the discriminant is equal to b square minus 4ac. And depending on the value of d, we can find out the nature of the roots. So let's start with the discussion on the nature of the roots. Now the first case, if d is greater than 0. Now if d is greater than 0, then this particular part is always positive. We can easily find out the square root of the positive number. Okay. So if the square root of a positive number, we can say that this root, the value of x is nothing but that is basically a real roots. So when discriminant is greater than 0, your roots are real and distinct. Why distinct? Because we are getting here plus minus sign. So we will get two different values of x here. Now when the roots are real and distinct, there are again two different conditions. The first case, that when discriminant is a perfect square. when the discriminant is a perfect square. For example, let's say if I say 16. So square root of 16, I'll get the 4. This root sign will be get removed. So whenever the discriminant is a perfect square, the roots are always a rational number. So here we can say when the discriminant is a perfect square, roots are rational. And the second case, if the discriminant is not a perfect square, when the discriminant is not a perfect square, in that case, the roots will, this root sign will be get here. So when this, the root sign will remain here, you will get the root as irrational. Okay. And always remember that if the roots are irrational, if one of the root is a plus root b, the other is a minus root b, provided A, B and C are rational. Again, remember that this is an important condition. If one of the root is A plus root B, then the other root is A minus root B. That is only possible if all these three coefficients are rational. Okay. So, if it is quite possible if any one out of these three, if any one of them is irrational, then it is quite possible that one of the root is a rational and the other root is a irrational. So this is the first case when the discriminant is greater than 0. The second case, when D is equal to 0. So when discriminant is equal to 0, when D is equal to 0, this particular part will be equal to 0. So we'll get x is nothing but minus b by 2a. So when x is equal to minus b by 2a, you can say that here that the roots are real and equal. And the third case, when the discriminant is less than 0. When the discriminant is less than 0, in that case your roots are real, not real, but roots are imaginary. Okay. Because this, you'll get a square root of some negative term which is an imaginary number. So in that case we can say that if one of the root is a plus ib, the other root has to be a minus ib. So in quadratic equation, just discuss about the first of all the nature of the roots. Now, once I discuss the nature of the roots, the next important thing is what are the graph of the quadratic equation. Okay. Now, the graph of the quadratic equation, remember, there are only two possibilities. It depends on the value of a. Okay. So, I just put the graph here. The first case, when a is greater than 0, and the second case, when a is less than 0. Now, when a is greater than 0, the graph of the quadratic equation is always like this one. It is a curve like this one. Okay. And when a is less than 0, the graph will be like this one. Again, it is a curve. Okay. Now, in this case also, when I am plotting the graph of any quadratic equations, there are three different possibilities. Because we have discussed three different conditions. D is greater than 0, D is equal to 0, and the D is less than 0. Now, this is the case when D is greater than 0. Why? Because when D is greater than 0, we are getting two distinct real roots. So, if we are getting two distinct real roots, it must cut the x-axis at 2 points. Okay. So, whenever the discriminant is greater than 0, our graph will be always like this one. The second case is that this is something like this one.